Well, good evening and welcome to the Emerson Institute at City of Light. I'm Reverend Dr. Paul Graetz. I'm the senior minister here at City of Light, and I'm welcoming you to tonight's class on the basic principles of science of the mind by Frederick Bales. Now, this is class number 2 in our series of 8 weeks. If you are a student studying for a degree, it is really important that you share your takeaway at the close of tonight's class. Each class session, we need to hear from you. Let us know what is spoken to your heart the most from this session of study together. It's really important because we love to hear the many different ways that these classes that is sort of like in your spiritual Tupperware that you're going to take away with you as you go through the rest of this week. So we love to hear from you at the close of our class. So be prepared to offer a comment at the end of tonight's session. So to prepare for tonight's gathering, let's just do something very important to our life, and that is center and be in the moment, to be right here. And as we do, let us allow ourselves to just release all stress, tension, and distraction, allowing our minds to be reset for this moment. Let's breathe together. Shall we? Breathe in and release. Deep breath in. And release. And in a moment of silence, please set your intention. Whisper your heart's desire, that which you desire to receive, that which you intend to experience during this time that we share together. And so it is. Well, let's dig into tonight's class number 2 on the chapter Thought and Its Power. Why our thought has power is so important. We want to understand that and grasp this truth tonight in our session. Author Frederick Bales illustrates this by saying that we're likened unto an electric light bulb. The light manifests through it, but is not produced by it. There is an interaction between the power of electricity and the light bulb. So too, the infinite power of the divine finds an outlet through an ordinary person, just like you and I. A tight connection between them. So when we understand this, that the power of the divine is working through us, just like the light bulb that illuminates and shines so brightly when the electricity flows through the light bulb itself. So we're allowing this divine presence. Our thought has this power to awaken us, to enlighten us, to enable us to be this radiant beacon in this world. Jesus, our master teacher, said, I and the Father are one. What he's speaking of is this infinite power that flows through him. We too must come to this realization that we're one with the divine source, this source of all good. The power flows and it manifests based on our agreement with the infinite thinking. It's based on this very, very tight connection. So we want to make this connection with the divine power and presence. We want to make sure that this connection is made each and every day of our life. Because it's then that we are awakened to the divine source, and we're allowing that divine source to radiate, to flow through our lives. So we understand that it's not man's thought itself that produces the results, because our thinking just becomes the vehicle of this creative power. The thought then becomes the vehicle for the creative power to flow through us. The power that's already there within us, we're awakening to it with our thought, and we're allowing it to flow through us. We want to understand the difference between materialistic thinking and spiritual thinking. Spiritual thinking is that method of thought that brushes aside the surface, welcomes all of this, and it sees, spiritual thinking sees things beyond all of this physical element. And it sees things in a different way. There is a reason, a greater reason or cause behind all that we do. We want to understand that. Now, materialistic thinking, on the other hand, is occupied with what it can see and taste and smell and hear and handle. It's based on the five senses. And it accepts only that which can be mathematically demonstrated or proved in a laboratory. So it says, just show me the basic physical facts. Example here would be that material knife, but not in the spiritual union with the source of all healing. So the physical is just the realm of thought constantly. If I can touch it, if I can taste it, that's our physical world, our materialistic thinking. So we want to understand welcome this kind of thinking, that we are not based on our attitudes, our emotions, our feelings, aren't just based on the physical world, but it's elevated in knowing our presence is at work within us. We need to understand that thoughts then become things. Man's inner world of thought is translated into his outer world of things. That means thoughts that are focused in recognition of the divine source, being one with God, the higher the manifestation will be. So let's begin to think of the power and presence of the divine that is filled with infinite possibilities and how it's working in our life right here and now. The divine source of all good. Let's look at what our author brings out as some attributes of God. Now, we've been so accustomed to thinking of God as this being up in heaven, white beard, white hair, sitting on a throne, making all these decisions and judgments. God is this wonderful presence, this divine essence. So here's what God is as we introduce God to you. God, this divine source, is order. And order seems to be one of the first laws of the universe. Everything in the universe is falling together in complete order. It fits. It works in conjunction. It collaborates. There is an order that we find throughout the universe. Next, God, this divine source, is harmony. Things around us move then in unity with one another. And this is the growth and the order of this universe. Everything is in harmony. Everything is in unity. Everything is in oneness. I want to grasp this. So there's order, there's harmony, and God is power. There's a power in this divine source that keeps this universe on all of its courses. And that power in everything, and it's in you too. God is this source of infinite knowledge and understanding and truth. Wisdom is available to each and every one. It's within us. We're called then to be still and know. God is love. Now, love is being for one another. It is filled with a desire for the highest and best. So we find order and harmony and power and wisdom and love all at work when we're describing this divine source that dwells within our own lives. Man reproduces this infinite nature. Man is created in the image of God, not in physical, but in nature. And man reproduces this infinite nature of the divine, this infinite character, this character that we call the essence of God, a character of love and grace and forgiveness and true nature must be then a reproduction of God's nature. So let us dwell on order and harmony and wisdom, power and love. Let's dwell on that. This is the innate nature within us. This is the character of God. And allow these things to rise up and manifest within our own individual life. Let's allow our body be in synchronicity, in order with every element within it. Let's allow our life and our words to be in harmony. And discover this infinite power at work in our lives. Let's talk a little bit about treatment, because this is going to be very important that we understand this word as a basic principle for New Thought and for science of the mind. When we look at treatment being prayer, what we're doing is we treat the underlying thought that's causing the illness or the challenge. In prayer, what we want to do is release all doubt and fear, stress, worry, apprehension. We want to let all these things go so that we can stand in strong faith, unwavering, believing and affirming with great confidence and assurance that all things are working together for good. But quite often, the reason we turn to someone is because we are in doubt and in fear, wondering, is everything going to turn out okay? So we're not treating the problem, but we're treating the underlying thoughts of fear and doubt and stress that are really causing whatever challenge you're going through. The wrong way to treat is to focus on the problem instead of focus on speaking the desired outcome. So when we pray, we are in our prayer treatment, we're always praying in the affirmative manner. Through treatment, we release all those things and welcome the affirming belief, the affirming recognition that all is good and that our answer is already here. So what we want to do is focus the mind and of ourselves as reproducing God's nature, His perfect nature of love and harmony and unity. We turn away from the weakness of this body and we fill our thoughts with a power that knows no limit. Wow. Our prayer then takes on a totally new dynamic. Quite often, the style of traditional prayer is one of begging, pleading, always echoing a sense of doubt and fear, a sense that maybe God is withholding the answer from us. And so we're pleading and begging and insisting. We want to turn away from all of this kind of thoughts and just allow us to welcome the divine nature of God and that character of God at work within our lives right now. Know that you're dealing with this limitless power from all physical limitations. Now, when it comes to treating for our prosperity, we begin by stopping the focus on what you don't have. Prosperity can be just this word that's so often misinterpreted. Prosperity is this wonderful space of knowing that all is good, you are blessed. Build from there. Too many people focus on what they don't have, and the request is, because I don't have, I need this, versus saying, because I do have, I welcome this, or I welcome that. So it's coming from a different perspective when we're in prayer treatment. What we want to do is eliminate speech. The psalmist writes in the Old Testament, keep the door of my lips. which is really saying never give utterance to that which is negative. Do not let negativity uphold any part or control any part of your thoughts. Turn your conversation around and let it always be positive and optimistic in that direction, because faith is positive. And we are people of great faith. We're people of great belief. And what are we believing in? Are we believing in the negative? No, we're believing in the positive. So we're claiming this. Remember that no one can separate us from our highest and best but ourselves. We're the ones. So we need to do this work within us. It changes all thoughts from doubt, fear, and negativity to the assurance and confidence that you're living in the abundance and blessing. This is just what it's all about in our life. Someone said, we are people who think big, B, blessed, I, inspired, G, goodness. So we think of our blessing, we think of how it inspires us to even greater goodness. That's thinking big. Big in our lives. And I want you to say that when you pray, affirm with me, I am praying in the biggest way I can, acknowledging my blessings, inspired for what is yet to come, and embracing the generous goodness of God. Now, we mentally can separate ourselves from our highest and best all the time, and we can do this through our fears and our negative thoughts and our words. So ask what this does and what this has done to our lives and what this experience teaches us. Well, when we're always in negativity and doubt and fear, we're losing sight of the blessings that God has. We're not thinking big. Now, for every moment that we have, that we experience in our life, there is a cause. And our thoughts are cause, create effect. Nothing ever just happens. Nothing in life is just an accident. It happens because of some creative cause, a thought, a word that is spoken, a perspective, an attitude. It all becomes cause that brings about an effect in our life. So we're called to create, to be the cause, to hold the thought that matches your true and highest desire. Choose today to make today the very best day of your life. Make that choice. Now, always look for causes in your life that are creating the world that you desire. Thought. Now, the question is, what thoughts are you entertaining? Now, all kinds of thoughts can come to our mind. We don't have to entertain them. We don't have to welcome them. We don't have to open the door to them and say, hey, come on in, sit down, stay for a while. Most importantly, what we want to do is weed the garden of our thoughts. So this doesn't happen again. So we don't dwell on the negative. We don't dwell on the doubt and the fear. We don't entertain these things. We release them constantly and don't allow them to find residence within us. And so our journey is all about creating new mental habits. The deeper mind, that subconscious mind, can be taught a habit of positive thinking, can be taught optimism versus skepticism. And it begins with our speech. Never say anything about others that you do not want to see realized in your own life. Note that very clearly. So we want this opportunity in our day-to-day journey of teaching the deeper mind to always reflect, work from, and create from the womb of positive thinking that we've created within our journey of our life. So let's say this together. I'll repeat it. Please repeat after me, or you'll find it in your packet of notes. My mind is an inlet of the infinite ocean of mind. My mind is an inlet of the infinite ocean of mind. Has power to renew itself. Has power to renew itself. In it lies the answer to every problem. In it lies the answer to every problem. Freedom from every fetter. Freedom from every fetter. Healing for every condition. Healing for every condition. A balm for every hurt. A balm for every hurt. It has the power to alter its patterns. It has the power to alter its patterns, to rise into the place of dominance over illness, to rise in the place of dominance over illness, over lack and in harmony. My mind is God's mind in me this day. Over lack and in harmony, my mind is God's mind in me this day. I love this little thought, this affirmation, this wonderful, positive, uplifting mantra that we might embrace. My mind is God's mind in me today. And I encourage you to use it on a daily basis. Now, our next chapter is all about the focus of our attention. Our thoughts and our words have great creative power. People who light up a room do so because of the energy through the life in that person. Have you met those kind of people? They just light up a room with the love and joy and peace and serenity that they radiate. And there are these so-called energy vampires in this world who want to just drain all the energy in a room. They're just sort of sucking up all the energy in life. So we want to realize that there is an energy that we can radiate in thought, in positive power, and in positive focus. So I want you to really think about that for a moment. And what kind of person are you as you enter a room? An energy vampire? Or someone who's radiating positive energy for others? It all starts with this. Never belittle yourself, because what we think about ourselves is so important. You're created in the image and the likeness of God, so just never, ever think of any person then that you would like to be. What do you want to be? Loving, caring, compassionate, gracious, kind, generous? Act out that part of the person that you want to be. So let's do a little exercise. I encourage you to name 5 people that you admire. List their names and their qualities. Then and put your name there. So you may reflect on someone who's touched your life with a quality of great compassion, or patience, or kindness. What we want to do is fire up the energy in life, in our own life, and in the lives of others. How about complimenting someone and telling them they look good? This increases the energy in the room. And when we're saying positive things, we're building up the body of Christ, building up the body of believers, building up the body of this world that we are all one with, that we live in unity with. So let's build up one another, because as we build up others, we're building up the world that we live in. We're all connected together. So it's really important that you also turn away from any past failures, because this is so important, really putting our attention away from past shortcomings and times when we missed the mark or any kind of failures, and stop weaving them into the fabric of your life. It's that loom of thought, of mind, that we're weaving all that we focus on into our thinking. We're welcoming these thoughts. So turn away from past failures and turn to successes. Think back in your past, no matter how small they may be, of the successes that you've had. And recall the times when you made the right decisions and celebrate them. They're going to help you change your whole focus and your attention away from what you couldn't do or what you can't, to what you can and what the possibilities are. Because life pays us what we ask. Life is never unfair to us. but we may be unfair to ourselves. And this is the choice that we make. So what are you asking of life? Are you asking for greater success, prosperity, more love, grace, health, strength? Whatever you ask, allow that ask to be in the affirmative, not in the negative. Not as if something is being withheld, but knowing that it's unfolding in your life now. For power flows to whatever we put our focus on, or where our attention is. You see, man's mind is like a funnel, and we give attention to something, we actually give power to it. So we're like funneling all of our power to whatever we're giving attention to. So focus on the highest and best of others. Give your God-given power, the divine source, give it in a loving way by focusing on the highest and best to others around you in your life. I also want to mention a brief moment about the law of attraction. The law of attraction is the activity of mind that draws to us that which is like our dominant inner pattern of thought or thinking. So within, so without. What's going on inside your thoughts is what's going to happen outside of you. So the law of attraction is it's drawing to you whatever your dominant thoughts are. And if your dominant thoughts are negative and fear-based and doubtful and stressed, well, that's what it's going to attract more of. So changing your thoughts will change what's being attracted to you. So maybe what we need to do is do a little house cleaning of our thoughts, clearing them out. You're attracting those things that keep you at the central consciousness, focal consciousness. You're attracting those things in this that you are keeping in the forefront of your thoughts, that you're focusing on so much. Just remember that. That's what you're attracting. Now, man's mind is the one mind. Though our human mind is limited, it's still part of this infinite intelligence, and it's forever united with the divine source of wisdom. There's one mind, and we're part of it. Think of this wonderful sphere, shall we say, of one mind, and this beautiful sphere of intelligence and knowing, so we can tap into that wisdom of God at any time. There's this knower within us. It's like a river that contains all the discoveries of the world, and it flows through the brains of mankind. It flows through the brains through each and every one of us who have habitual thoughts towards a particular concept or idea. And this one mind may inspire or enable us to really just come up with some brilliant ideas. And it's very interesting to find out how people on different sides of the world have come up with the same idea. Same inspiration. Interesting to think about the pyramids of Egypt and the pyramids of Mexico. Opposite sides of the world. Yet the idea of creating the pyramid came to different cultures and different civilizations at different times. So when we think about these things, we think that we're open to the wisdom of God that's available to each and every one of us at any time, no matter where we are in the world. It's available to us. Man's thought is created because God's thought then flows through us like an electrical current. If one's dominant desire is held more or less steadily at the center of his or her attention, affection, is a way of life. Remember, hostility throws us out of tune with this creative flow. Love is the fulfilling of this law. Hostility, then, is the obstruction of the law. Harboring a grudge or resentment will block any achievement of good. So let's just understand that this is a way of life. The one who harbors all of this hostility is going to be the one who's going to be the loser, but the one who welcomes the way of life of thinking in the positive, in the spiritual realm, releasing from the physical, releasing from the world of the realm of the five senses and all its limitations, that person's going to be the real winner and the achiever, attracting so much more. that I'm involved in hinder my spiritual development? Let this be our guide when we think about the habits that we have in our lives. Is it enhancing or not? Well, this concludes our study over tonight, and I'm so glad that you've joined with us, and we'd love to hear what you're from this time that we've shared together. I am delighted that you are just joining with us through this study on some basic principles. And we share them now. I'd love to hear from them because we'd love to just make sure that we have clarity and clear focus on what's being offered in this powerful teaching on science of the mind. Waiting to hear from you who are joining us through live streaming or through our YouTube. Well, let's just go to our multimedia team and let's ask them, as I do each session, what's their takeaway? What have you received and what's spoken to you? Steve, tell me a little bit what touched you tonight.
You said that don't say anything or whatever about somebody else or to somebody else that you don't want in your own life. This is very similar to the golden rule about do unto others. I feel like, it's easy to think, it's easy to say, but it's hard to practice. We can practice it, but it's hard to practice. But I think that the more we do, if we all did that, we would end, globally, we would end war, we would end crime, we would end poverty, probably disease. It would be, it's how you would think in heaven. And if everyone did that on a global scale, we would bring heaven to earth.
Beautiful. Thank you. Dr. David Carter, tell me what's your takeaway?
What you said, the exercise about listing 5 people and the qualities you best like about them. I did that, and then you said remove their names and put your name there. So that was a wonderful exercise.
Beautiful. Last night we watched the movie on Mr. Rogers. Wow. It was, with Tom Hanks. And I have to say, I was very moved by the movie. I want to be Mr. Rogers. I want to be that loving, caring person who's really focused on one another. I want to learn to be that. So, in my and a love for people and a desire to help people understand their emotions and their feelings and what they're going through. They're not that Frederick Bales has offered to us, and I hope each and every one of you are following through. Try it again and work through it throughout tomorrow as well, listing 5 new people and their attributes, and then putting your name by. Great takeaway. Thank you, David Carter. Are there others from our classes that are joining us? Any other classmates?
Yes, Ty Thornton.
Ty, great, welcome.
The higher the quality of the thought, the higher the manifestation will be.
Beautiful. The higher the thought, the higher the manifestation. Very simple. Excellent. Thank you so much. Anyone else? If not, well, thank you for joining us tonight. We appreciate all of your comments. I'm so glad that you've taken this time to be part of this class on basic principles. And I hope that it's really speaking to your life and enabling you to build a strong foundation for your spiritual enrichment. I look forward to seeing you again in our class time next Tuesday, 7 p.m. You're welcome to join us on Sundays at 11 a.m. for our celebration service as well. And if you've enjoyed this class time and found it beneficial for your life, saying this was valuable, it touched my life, and I want to offer value for value. So I want to make a donation. You can do so by going to our website at www.cityoflightatlanta.com. And there it goes to the support of Emerson Institute and the wonderful work we do in spiritual enrichment, helping people to discover their highest and best. Thank you so much for your generous giving. We greatly appreciate it. Now, God bless you. I'll look forward to seeing you next week. I know that something great is unfolding in your life. I am thinking the highest thought for the highest and greatest manifestation for you. And I'm claiming that in this journey of life, we are celebrating wonderful attributes within our life that we may see in others and claiming them for ourselves.